So now we're going to look at floating point numbers binary to denary. So you are given in the exam a binary number with a mantissa and an exponent. First thing to note is, okay, look at the number that you've been given. It starts with a 0, so you are going to make a positive number. It's got a positive exponent, which if you remember from the previous video tells us it's going to be a number that's larger than let's say 0.25 or 0.6. It's going to have a 1 or something at least at the beginning because we're moving it the binary point. So let's start. So we're going to write out the number underneath, and we're going to think, okay, where did we place our binary point when we finished the previous example? Our imaginary binary point is always before the first one, and the exponent tells us how far to move that binary point to get it back to the original number. So work out what this is worth in binary. So if you think about that, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 4. We've got something in the 2 columns, so that's equal to 3 in our number. So that means this binary point needs to move 3 places. So 1 place, 2 place, 3 place. Let's write out our number now. 0, 1, 1, 0, 0.1. So that's what we've ended up with, because it started here. We've moved the binary point, the method that the exponent told us to move it to. So now we can work out what this is worth. Everything to the left of the binary point, remember, is the same way. 1, 2, 4, 8. Everything to the right of the binary point is fractions. A half, a quarter, an eighth, and so on. So let's look at this. 4 and 2, so 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 point, and then a half. A half is 0.5, so it's 6.5. So if we look back at our example, we knew it was going to be a positive answer. We've got a positive answer. And we knew it was going to be a number larger than, let's say, 0.25 because it's moving positively. So 6.5. So we can do a quick check just by looking at it. Does that seem like a suitable answer without me going into too much depth? Yes, it does. Right, okay. Now let's look at a different example. Looking at the number, we can see that the mantissa starts with a 1, so we're going to be making a negative answer. Our exponent is a positive number, so that doesn't change, but this does. Before we can start working on this mantissa, we have to get into a format that we can use, which is by flipping and adding 1. So I will flip it, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, and I will add 1 to that number. Remember, quick way to add 1 to any number is start here, move across until you get to your first 0 and change it to a 1. Everything that you passed changes to a 0. Everything that you've still got left to cover stays exactly the same. So 1, 1, 0. So this is now my number that I can work with using the skills that I've just shown in example number 1. So where is my binary point? My imaginary binary point is there, because that's where it always is before the first 1. I am moving it 1 place, because that's what it tells me to move it, in a positive direction. So I'm going to be moving it here. Write out my number, 1.110. Again, if I just look at my number and think, okay, to the left of the binary point is the same not as normal, so that's just equal to 1 in binary. To the left of the binary point is fractions, so I've got a half and I've got a quarter. So a half plus a quarter is 0.75. So 1.75. That is not my final answer, because look back at my original number, I was working with negatives. So my answer is minus 1.75. So you can tell a lot about your answer before you've even started, just by looking at your mantissa and exponent to work out what's going on. Mantissa, exponent. So just be careful when you're doing these questions. Look at what it's telling you to do. Which way is it telling you to move the binary point? The clue is here. It tells you exactly what it wants you to do. So just be mindful of that when you're having a go.